that's okay. We got it figured out and sorted, and maybe eventually some of you will be here.
Don't, you're not dumb or bad at this. Well, you are bad at this, but you're not dumb.
We'll pull the thing and it'll flip down. All right. Here we go. We're live.
All right.
Yay!
Awesome. Live in Seattle, I might add.
In Seattle.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Those joining us as we talk about Cinema Therapy Studios. Oh, thank you.
I was already too tall, and then now I'm less too tall. Okay.
Everyone's saying hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
We're back.
Okay, did you comment on here?
I did.
Yes, okay, great. Boom. And then let me get to our notes so that we know what to talk about. What are we talking about today?
Okay, first of all, yes, we're launching a movie studio. No, we're not buying property in Burbank or in Atlanta. And this isn't...
We're buying Warner Brothers.
Paramount's up for sale. We're going to buy Paramount.
But by launching a studio,
$10 billion.
we mean, well, I'll let Alan tell you what we mean, but we're starting small, okay?
Yeah.
And we're making projects together for you to enjoy.
Yeah. The short version is we are launching a thing called Cinema Therapy Studios.
Yes.
Cinema Therapy Studios is going to be a live-action movie studio. This year, in 2024, we are going to make...
A short film.
A short film.
Yeah.
One short film.
Well, you know what? It's a good way to start, though.
It is. It's the only way we can start because there's not enough money to build up a slate of
Actually,
superhero
hold on.
movies.
So people are saying there's Alan's quiet.
I'm quiet.
Is your mic on?
I'm quiet. I don't want to be quiet. I want to be loud.
Can you guys hear Jono, by the way?
Here, we're testing me.
Oh, I'm not powered up.
There you go.
That explains it.
So did you guys hear anything of what he just said?
People are saying Jono's fine.
Jono's fine. Can you hear me?
Hell yeah,
now?
I
We
am.
have to turn on Alan's voice, and we just turned it on. So here we go.
Okay, here. Let me flip that around and let me see.
I can
Yes,
hear Jono, so-
I'm talky now. It's me, the guy who talks.
Yeah.
We're
All right.
really good at things that involve pre-production, production, and post-production.
Okay, here's the backstory. I ordered French toast for breakfast, which didn't happen, and then they made a burrito, which I horked down in about 3 minutes, starting 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're late and unprepared because we don't have Corinne here to run our show.
Just us. So, Cinema Therapy Studios,
We're
huh?
launching Cinema Therapy Studios. We are going to make one short film this year. That's basically all I said before.
Yeah.
In later years, we hope to expand that to either multiple shorts or, down the road, a feature film would be great. But we're going to make something every year.
Yes.
Hopefully, some things every year.
Alan, you're still quiet, they're saying.
Why am I quiet?
I don't know.
This
They're
is
just
so
saying he's still pretty quiet.
great. I love how great it is.
Okay. Well, so those are my levels on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take my mic.
Hang on.
Or you could just point it like to
There you go.
when he's talking.
There.
Worst.
You know what?
Yeah, just hold it like it's a microphone and just.
Here we go.
It's out of power.
Oh. well,
Here. It's just right here. This is.
Hang on.
How's that?
We're going to do a thing.
Hold on, he's doing a thing.
We're going to do a whole other thing. It's going to be great.
Does anyone want to ask me anything about mental health?
Why does it
I'm
always
here.
happen this way?
And I got time, apparently.
Someone says they're studying cinematography right now.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
awesome. How's that?
Do I have levels? I have levels. I'm powered up. Flip it
bet-
around. That's upside down.
Sorry.
Does it look like
Okay.
he's looking through a peephole right now? Does his head get super huge?
Okay.
How is he? Is he good?
Can you hear me? Dear Lord above, please say yes.
It says, will you adopt me?
Sure.
Well, what do you bring to the table?
Join the family.
Okay, I think everyone's saying perfect now.
Okay, great. Powered
do-
up.
Will I adopt you? Do you do dishes? Are you cute and marketable? Can we?
Asking the right question.
Are you cute and marketable? Horrible.
I know.
Cinema Therapy Studios.
Made by horrible people, but that's like every studio.
Just like every studio. We're bad in a different way. Okay.
Okay, has
How is it
anybody
funded?
heard a damn thing he has said this entire
I
time?
think they just said he was very quiet.
Okay.
So
Again?
Let's do take 3.
Take.
I don't even. They probably can't hear me. So like.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Cool. We're making a short film this year at Cinema Therapy Studios. It's a studio that we're launching, and We're going to make a short film this year, hopefully multiple short films, or maybe even a feature in the years to come. But we're going to make something every year. It's going to be really great. This studio will be funded by our patrons. You can join us over on Patreon if you would like to help fund these movies. What else do they get if they're on Patreon?
Stop! I'm sorry that you've lost your enthusiasm by doing this 3 times. What do they get when they do a Patreon?
Now we're to new stuff. Now I'm excited.
Okay, our Patreon, we do, first of all, extended director's cuts, commercial free of all of our episodes, which is a real nice feature. But what happens is people come for those, and then they stay for the deep dives. Alan does filmmaking deep dives where he talks you through a part of the filmmaking process. I do therapy deep dives where I talk about relationships or mental health. And then what I think is the most fun, honestly, is we've been starting to do like weird sketch comedy crap on our Patreon. And by crap, I mean lovingly prepared bits of humor for you. And outtakes
that are not at all based in reality.
We just had an outtake reel that was
so unhinged.
Our YouTube channel is family friendly. Our Patreon outtakes are not
as much.
Not so much.
It depends on the family.
Yeah, that's true. we went from a light PG-13 to a strong PG-13 is what that looks like.
Very. Okay, so what CT Studios Patreon stuff means is...
oh, that's what you were asking.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, well,
okay.
I just told you what's on the Patreon
that's
generally.
All right. So with the studio, Cinema Therapy Studios, a lot of the deep dive material is going to be filmmaking stuff from making this film. So we're going to be doing cast and crew interviews, working with me on prepping the show and then filming it and on going through post and all of that stuff. Probably working with Trevor, who is behind the camera right now, who's probably going to be editing it. That's his hand over there. Hi.
Yeah.
So a lot of that deep dive material, the filmmaking deep dive material, will be coming from the short film, but so will a lot of your deep dive material.
Yeah, well, because the CT Studios, the big thing about it is we're looking to create content that...
We're not making content, we're making movies.
I'm sorry, why would I even say that? We're
Gross.
making movies. We're making films that are edifying and instructive on a relationship or mental health or emotional health level while still being super entertaining.
Yes.
And so that my primary role will be as consultant on all of the psychological aspect of things. So
and as producer and probably co-writer.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, I will be on camera, which I'm super excited about.
We don't know in what role yet because we haven't written the short yet.
No, but like we've talked about this, that like if you saw Moonstruck, I had one of the lead roles in that. But I would love to be Bruce Campbell to your Sam Raimi.
Yes.
If you've seen the Spider-Man films, like Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi did a lot of stuff with the Evil Dead films where Bruce was the lead. Sam Raimi goes on to do other things, but there's always a spot for Bruce to come in and do something weird.
Mater D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and my therapy deep dives will be like, okay, this is the movie we're preparing. This is the subject psychologically or relationally that it's addressing. And since I've been doing all this research for the film, I'm going to share with you some things that I've learned that you'll find helpful.
Yes, and you'll be doing that on your own and with the actors who are portraying the mental health challenges or the relationship issues or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be working with the actors on that to make sure that their portrayals are accurate and interesting.
Yep,
it'll be really cool. So we're going to be doing that. If you're a patron, the people on Patreon already know this, but if you become a patron, you become a studio executive.
Yep.
So we do not have a story yet. We have a couple of ideas. We're actually asking our patrons to submit their story ideas, character ideas, mental health ideas, things that they want to see us tackle. And we are going to come up with 3 or 4 pitches, and we're going to pitch them to the studio executives, our patrons, and they get to pick which film to green light.
Yeah,
which
super
is
cool.
Really, really cool. And for you, just regular viewer, if you can't afford to jump on our Patreon, that's fine. If you choose not to jump on our Patreon, I question your life choices, but that's also okay.
Wow.
I don't.
That's not manipulative and shady at all.
That was horrible. I'm the worst. Again, we're studio moguls. We're the worst people.
Don't play the part now that we've taken on the mantle.
Shoot. Okay. But The film is going to release first on Patreon. It'll have an exclusivity period there, but then it will be coming to YouTube. We haven't decided if it'll be this channel or my production company
Telekinesis, yeah.
channel, Telekinesis. It'll probably be on this channel, but there's like algorithm stuff that we need to think about
Yeah.
because it may affect who is getting. Algorithms are nuts. Anyway.
But while the film itself will eventually be released publicly, Patreon exclusive first, there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff that is Patreon exclusive and just lives there.
Yeah. Okay, so will the movie come out in theaters?
Well, it's a short film.
So no.
No,
Screening in
There will be at least one screening. We may be able to do some kind of like tour thing where we bring it around and screen it like once per city or something. But like, if there was a way to make money making short films, studios would do that,
yeah.
and there isn't. So this isn't going to be on like 1,200 screens at your local multiplex.
But we'll do screenings.
We will do screenings.
And you'll be invited.
And it'll get submitted to film festivals. Whether or not it gets in is up to the movie god fates.
The movie God Fates. You heard it here first. Groundbreaking new breaking ground in theology.
Look, I didn't really study that hard when we were doing like Greek mythology stuff. All right.
Do we have any questions?
Well, hang on.
Oh,
We've got a couple other things.
Okay.
This is a question that I'm sure is going to get asked. Okay, first of all, what is the goal of Cinema Therapy Studios? What is your goal?
My goal with it is, we review films and talk about films on Cinema Therapy that help people in their lives. Now we want to make them.
Yeah.
And just like Cinema Therapy is edutainment, we're not looking to make something dry and boring. It's going to be scary. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be funny. It's going to be thrilling. It's going to be exactly what you would want from a theater-going or YouTube watching at home on Patreon experience.
Yeah. I'm not interested in making vegetables movies. I'm interested in making very nutritious candy movies. That's not what it is.
Oh my
It's
God.
a whole meal.
Possible, yeah.
Did we stay up too late last night in Seattle?
Yes.
Yes.
We did.
And it shows. But you know what? You're getting the real deal here.
Real deal. This is what it is.
You know who's filming this right now? Our editor-in-chief, Trevor.
It's me.
And he's sitting here going, I usually cut all this crap out.
And lose that. And lose that. Okay.
Someone was actually asking about, are they going to be able to like submit like story ideas and things like that?
If we are accepting story submissions from patrons
On Patreon, yeah.
on Patreon. So, yes, go over to Patreon. There's a $2 a month tier if you want to just do that. It's
Yeah.
not very expensive. Again, I understand if you can't afford it, then that's stinks. But
that's where it is.
That's where it is.
Well, because all of this costs money, and we're not making money on this. We're spending money on this.
This money is coming from the Patreon, and instead
Hold
of
on a second, Alan.
yes.
So people are calling me out saying, "Hi, Trevor, we love you, Trevor," and I have to acknowledge these people.
Hey, yes, you should all love Trevor.
This is very new to me. I'm like,
Do you want my mic?
Flip the camera around real quick. Here, we got to see.
yeah.
Hand me the microphone thing too. Look, it's Trevor.
Hello!
This is
I'm the
Trevor.
editor.
He does the
I'm
editing.
never on camera. Hello, people.
Ooh, La Prince Conyers says, can we do more videos about
yeah.
self-confidence? And we can.
If we could do what?
More videos about self-confidence.
Well, that's a Q&A for us.
That is a Q&A for
Let
us.
Trevor.
Hi, Trevor.
address his
Everybody-
glasses.
I'm an editor.
Wow, hi, editor.
I
Editor
do
love.
editor things.
Trevor, the voice from The Off, is now, oh boy, people love you. So many people. I don't like this. I want them to love me more.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word you guys were saying. I just saw, we love Trevor. It's like, ooh.
So
All for me.
So Trevor does a lot.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Trevor is a master of, if you enjoy our intro trailers, which you do, he's the one who really pioneered that format for us and a lot of the best ones. My absolute favorite one, go back and watch the trailer for our Rocky episode that he did.
He still talks about that.
It's like an entire editing project in and of itself. It's like you did that and then the episode, and they're
Right,
two
it's-
separate things.
Yeah, and that's still how it is for me with each episode. It's two separate things. I treat them differently.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we love Trevor. He's fantastic.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you that back, and we're coming back. Good, it's me now again. I'm the worst. I didn't used to be like this.
Trevor for president? Oh my God.
Wow.
No, Trevor would make a great president. I'm not lying. Okay, how will Cinema Therapy Studios affect Cinema Therapy, the show?
It won't.
They said John and
Zero.
Trevor look so small.
Well, I was closer to the camera.
A little bit.
You were also towering over
Jono's
me.
a
Sorry,
Jono's a
I'm
big boy.
distracted now. I'm
Like,
all this-
we get this a lot, that people are like, oh, you know,
That I look small compared
Jono's
to you.
small. What's the real story is Jono's a big boy and I'm a monster.
Yeah. I'm 6 feet tall, and you know, a nice combination of fat and muscle. You know, but there's a lot here.
You're a thick boy.
I'm a thick boy.
HICC, thick boy.
I'm well rounded, and we were talking about this. We weigh about the same.
We weigh the same, but
and
I'm
we're
4.5 inches taller than you.
and we're more or
K1,
less about as
K1.
strong as each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're just me on like a rack, just like pulled up like Stretch Armstrong. So yeah.
It was torture. Okay, yeah, so this will not affect Cinema Therapy, the show. We are still going to produce at least 50 episodes this year. None of that is going to change. How would you describe
At least
cinema?
50. We'll do more than that. We do one every week at least. And they're 52
Well,
weeks.
I don't want to promise like 60,
Oh no, gosh. Don't get crazy, people.
but you know, somewhere between 50 and 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least 50.
Okay, that's fine.
Anyway, whatever. Point is, a lot. And that's not going to change. So that'll be the same.
Yeah.
Would you describe Cinema Therapy, our show, as your dream job?
Yeah, I would. And
This is like
I-
what you want to do with your life,
Yeah, I
right?
frequently do. And so part of Cinema Therapy Studios is Alan helped Cinema Therapy come to life for me. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. And when you came to me and you're like, I want to do a studio because I want to make movies, it's like a little bit of returning the favor. Like, it's a great thing. So
I
yeah.
appreciate that. I would also like to say that Cinema Therapy, our show, is the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
So it's not my dream in the way that it is Jono's, but it is the best thing I've ever done,
Yeah.
work-wise, and also including one of my children. You know which one. If you're watching.
Gosh.
The other two are better.
We're going to have a prompter next time.
Anyway, so yeah, but the studio is not going to like take over our lives and whatever. Even if there's more money coming in and we're able to do a feature and all of that stuff, the show is still going to be the show.
Well, and we say studios, and because that's what it is. We're making films, but like it's modest. The ambitions for it are modest. Like
yeah, I mean, realistically, this is never going to make any money. Like if we're making short films, it's basically impossible to make money, and if we're making features, the odds of us somehow like, can you name the number of studios that have launched in the last 30 years that are profitable?
I can't. No.
A24 and Lionsgate.
Yeah.
That's it. You know how many studios have launched in that time?
How many?
I have no freaking clue. It's a lot. So we're going to be one of those almost certainly.
Oh, this is.
We're
guys,
not going to be
this is-
A24.
This is total labor of love. In fact,
Yeah.
I after I graduated from my master's degree and everything, I wanted to get back into acting, and so I signed up with a talent agency, and I went to one audition, and I hated it so much that I said,
It was one audition was enough for you.
one
right?
audition, and I thought, all I really want to do is make movies with my friends, right? And so
Yeah.
this is that, except for now our friends have been in the industry for 20 years and need to get paid.
Yeah,
right?
they have families they need to take care of, so we can't just be like, hey, let's all get together on the weekends, because
Yeah.
like, they have to go to kids' soccer games.
But it's still that type of passion project, small little indie labor of love type energy, and so
Yeah, it'll be a ton of fun, and it's a way for us to flex creative muscles and legitimately have the fun that we had in our 20s making movies together.
yeah,
But
more salad now, less pizza.
more salad, less pizza.
Yeah.
there's going to be a
craft
lot
services.
more. There's going to be a lot more emotional and thematic weight to what we're doing.
Yeah,
With some silly comedy and hopefully some good scares and
and maybe even some awesome action at some point.
maybe some great action scenes and some fun stuff. Like it's going to be elevated genre fare is
Ooh.
probably what we're aiming at.
All right. Can we take questions now?
Let's take questions now.
Yeah, we can do questions for about 5 minutes. We got to get to the con in a little
I've
bit.
seen comments now saying, can we do auditions? Can we take auditions?
So that is a possibility, maybe even a probability. We have a form. If you go to our Patreon, there's a public post on our Patreon, and you can submit if you want to be cast or crew. You can submit on that form. It's like a Google form, and you can reach out to us that way. We're gonna take all of that into account. Obviously, we can't make any guarantees that any of you are gonna be able to work on this thing because, again, it's small. Like, the crew is gonna be less than 30 people, probably less than 20.
Yeah.
And the cast is gonna be 5 to 10, I would assume. Again, we don't know because we don't have the story yet. But this year's movie is not gonna be very big.
Yeah.
We would love to work with a bunch of you on this, as many as we can, but we also need to balance that with, we're going to be working with seasoned industry professionals as well.
Yeah.
So some people are asking, are you going to be interviewing the crew?
We are going to be interviewing
Yeah.
the crew and following them around. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of behind-the-scenes material, but like for the filmmaking deep dives, we're probably going to do a whole deep dive on cinematography, working with the cinematographer and other stuff. We'll do that for many of the crew positions. We'll do it with cast members, both from a filmmaking standpoint, and from a psychological therapy standpoint.
And I know we both are of the opinion that crew in general in the industry deserve more recognition.
Yes.
And accolades because of, they're the ones making it happen, right? And so.
Yeah, I hate the vanity credit. Like, a director film, yuck. I hate that.
Yeah.
I actually took it on CTU Provo, and I hate that I did that, even though I did like 9 jobs on that movie. Own it.
I am seeing some questions. I know you just answered this, but you're still going to be making cinematherapy episodes.
Yes.
Cinematherapy, release strategy, all of that stuff will not change. We're going to make the show.
Can I, and if I can speak to that really fast, Alan and I historically have been big dreamers, big ideas, and occasionally bite off more than we can chew with this, that, or the other. I'm really proud to say we've learned from that, and we've got Megan and Corinne to be like, okay, guys, hang on,
Slow down.
slow down. Which is why when we say this year's film will be small, it's a big part of that because we want to make sure we go through the whole process and be like, okay, now we know what the scale is, and we've done this once in this format.
And we did something like this 2 years ago. I made a short film through telekinesis. It wasn't through cinematherapy, but we made a short film, Moonstruck. You're in it.
Yep.
We made it together. This is a slightly scaled up version of that, but only slightly.
Yeah. But, in years to come,
hopefully the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Random question, will the short and future productions be subtitled in other languages?
I would love to subtitle everything in as many languages as we can. That would be amazing. And that is a very good question. Especially on YouTube, there's really easy tools to put it, we can put it in 20 languages if we want. So yes, the answer is yes. If you would like to help translate, we would love for that to happen. And I think we're probably going to set aside a little budget for that.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we'd probably start with a handful of languages where we know we have a lot of fans, like in Spanish, or a lot of German fans. I'm not promising Spanish or German by saying that. I'm just saying we know the demographics where we already have people who would watch our stuff, and we would start there.
Yeah, for sure.
And just for those who are just coming now to the live stream, can you just remind them where you're actually going to be able to see the short?
Yes.
Or the films, the future.
So for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about Cinematherapy Studios. We will be making a short film this year at a movie studio. And by movie studio, I mean my basement. We may have an office by the end of the year, which will be a room in a building.
Yeah.
Not a whole building. But that short film is going to be a Patreon exclusive for a while. We haven't determined how long that'll be. It's 3 to 6 months, probably, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it will be available on YouTube, probably on this channel, potentially not. We're going to have to look at algorithm stuff. But you will be able to see it.
Well, and we're building this from the ground up, step by step. So you may ask questions that we don't have answers for yet, and we're not So we'll tell you like we're still figuring that out.
Yes.
Right? Because we are we're still putting everything together, and we have enough of it together to make this announcement and have these conversations.
Yeah.
But
like we're at a point where I know how to make a movie. I don't know if I know how to make a good movie. You can tell me. But I know how to make a movie. What I don't know how to do is run a studio, and nobody on earth knows how to run a studio in the way that we are trying to do it.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a crowd-funded studio that, like a fan-funded studio that has a very specific mission.
yeah.
Not necessarily a very specific style, like we'll make different styles of films, but the mission of all of those movies is going to be similar, which is we're going to tell a compelling story that has real thematic weight.
Yeah.
It is not just some frivolous thing or a slasher movie or whatever. Like, we may make a slasher movie, but it will have a lot of weight to it.
Yeah. There you go.
There's a lot of people asking for ghost hugs.
We will hug anyone. We're big huggers. So if you see us, hug us.
There's also a question.
What is a ghost hug? Meaning we're
just hug,
okay.
hug
Here,
the person.
everybody.
Everybody, big hug. Bring it in.
Right in there. Right in there.
We can do a group hug.
Yeah.
Everyone
okay.
come in here. Oh,
Oh
yay.
wow. This is
Okay.
Someone asked me how I actually became one of the editors on the show, and I think you could probably explain it.
I can tell you the story of Trevor. So Trevor became an editor because
It started.
it's all started in 2017. We met in Cupertino.
Yeah.
No, Trevor and I became friends through working on a documentary project, and I just thought he was super talented. Like, I saw some of the stuff he'd done, and it was really, really good. And then I moved to LA, where Trevor lives, and we hung out occasionally. And right after I lost my job, or right before, I can't remember, we had lunch, and I talked to him about the show, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to want you to work on this show at some point. And then I lost my job and moved back to Utah, and called him up 8 or 9 months later after the show had blown up, and was like, hey, Trevor, you know how I talked about this show? And he was like, yeah, I've been watching it. I was like, do you want to start editing on it? And he was like, maybe. That's pretty much
Funny
it.
enough, I initially sort of said no.
Oh yeah, Trevor initially said no.
Because you had an editor. Because your sort of goal was to like have one full-time editor. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You had, I forget his name.
That's right. My initial plan was to have one full-time editor.
Yeah.
And then
that's changed.
it rapidly became apparent that what I was doing, cutting an episode every week, was more than is physically possible for a human. And so we now have 4 editors, not full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you found someone, and I was like, oh well, this person's doing a great job.
Yeah.
You don't need me.
yeah.
You're like, no, I still want to see. Let's do an episode, and then.
What's your title now? Is it post supervisor or what?
It's just lead.
I think lead editor.
Lead editor.
Yeah,
but
just because I see all this love from you, just a reminder, guys, I am one of the editors on the show. I'm not the editor.
Yeah,
No.
they're-
I'm the lead editor. I look at all the edits and everything.
Yeah.
Help approve everything.
Yes.
But we have an incredible team
The-
of talented editors on the show that make.
Yes. So
Make you guys
sort
look
of
good. Yeah.
edit theory here. The voice of the show very much comes from my weird voice that I put into the first episodes.
Yeah.
That then got elevated by all the editors that come in. Trevor now oversees and he's the keeper of the keys. So he is in charge of making sure that tone is working and in charge of making sure that quality is up to snuff on the edits. But we very much leave it up to the individual editors to have their own
voice.
voice
And
within
style.
that, and you can tell an Emily edit is very different from a David edit. Anything that's deeply unhinged is David.
Yeah, like the recent ranking 90s rom-coms and Alan's rant.
Masterclass.
Yeah.
Which was an absolute. I mean, all of us watched it. All the other editors, like Jenna, one of our other editors, called me up and she's like, "I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now that David did that because it's so good."
Anytime you have Alan and I descending into madness through the edit, that's
usually
David making us look crazy. Yeah. And that's another thing. I just want to add 2 things really fast. Alan, we were talking about this at breakfast today, but when you were the chief editor of the show and the sole editor of the show, and you said, I want to bring aboard people who will do a better job than I will, and I, being we're best friends, and I'm also just thought he did incredible work. And I said, I don't know, man. I don't think you might find somebody who can come close, and that'll have to be good enough. And he says, no, I'll find somebody better. And Trevor, his first episode was Joker. Go back and watch our Joker episode. I watched that edit, and I'm like, he is better than
Trevor
me.
came out fully formed.
Yeah. Yes.
It was like watching a baby come out and then like deliver the State of the Union
Yeah.
address. It was like,
But
wow.
what I will say is that I didn't have to sort of start the show from scratch and
Yeah.
sort of build the theme and
Yeah.
the character of the show. I just took what Alan started and just turned it up to 11.
Yeah. So Trevor is saying that just in case you can't hear him, that he didn't have to build things from scratch the way I did. He was able to take what I had done and then just make it good.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say.
Make it better.
Make it better. Yeah.
The other thing it was already great. The other thing I'm going to say is our editors roasting us sassily and taking the piss out of us, they do so with our full support and encouragement. So some people are like...
I had to push several of our editors to do that. 'Cause
Yeah.
they would like...
They didn't want to be too mean.
They would be sort of tentative about it. I'm like, go harder.
Yeah. They're like, I don't want to get fired by insulting my boss. And you're like, please.
You'll get fired if you don't insult us. Like,
If we weren't allowed to do this, then I would have left a long time.
Trevor says if he wasn't allowed to do that, he would have left a long time ago.
This is my form of therapy. Roasting.
Okay, let's take 3 more questions.
Okay, we'll try to answer quickly instead of we always talk way too long.
Let's see here. I'm just seeing a lot of love for the editors, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, start throwing some more questions here, guys, because I think I
You buried them?
Yeah, Trevor's saying ask more questions if you got them because they've been buried in the chat.
I am
How
going to...
many people are live right now?
700.
700. Wow. Hey everybody.
I will say if you're in Seattle and you have tickets to Emerald City...
I guess it's sold out already.
Sorry, we will announce that sooner next time.
Yeah.
But if you have tickets to Emerald City, we have a panel tomorrow night, Cinema Therapy Live.
6:45?
I believe it's 6:45.
That sounds right.
And the information you can see in our most recent community post or in the app for Emerald City Comic Con. But come to our panel. And then we're going to figure out a place to do a meet and greet. And that will be posted on our Instagram. We'll post on our Instagram. Here's where, right?
Yeah. Follow our Instagram. We'll be in the stories all day today and tomorrow, goofing around and doing stuff.
This is a question for Jono.
Yeah.
So how will the studio impact continuing doing therapy for people on an individual level?
It's a good question. So here's where I'm at. My dream was to get to a place where I would still be seeing about 5 clients just to stay fresh, just to stay loose and limber. And I got there and I stopped taking new clients because I've been busy. I was over at Mended Light, I was clinical director. We've since hired somebody to take my place there to take that off
you
my
were
plate.
training new therapists.
Training new therapists and training the clinical director. And here I'm very heavily involved. I mean, Alan and I are both management of cinema therapy. And so I got down to 5 clients and I was good. And then I told Alan a couple months ago, I said, well, I don't have any more clients. And he
I was like, what happened? I thought you were going to keep 5.
And I said, yeah, but I helped them. So,
He succeeded.
I'm not taking new clients right now. I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to take a breather from seeing clients for a while and just focus on my family and focus on what we're doing here,
And honestly, man, you deserve it. The plan is to get back to seeing clients eventually, but it'll be a low number. Right?
Yeah. Just to stay limber, just like, because I can't...
to keep your licensure.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Actually, I don't need to...
Oh, do you not have to have clients?
You don't need
There's
clinical...
continuing education, though.
Yep, you don't need clinical hours to retain a license. You need clinical hours to get a license. So I'm taking this year off and focusing on me and on my family and focusing on... C2 Studios and like other projects we have in the works. And probably next year I'll start taking on a handful of new clients.
Are you open to creating an animated short?
We are 100% open to creating an animated short. Who asked that?
Kate?
Okay. Okay.
Kate?
I was wondering if it was Marie. Yeah, I have a lot of friends in the animation industry. We would love to do that. Animation is very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's super time intensive. So I would love to do that at some point. I would love to work in animation, but
Not this year.
It's not going to happen this year.
Are you guys open to do it, like opening up internships and things like that for? in the future
Ooh.
for CT Studios.
Okay, the question is, are we?
Aspiring filmmakers.
Yeah, question is, are we open to opening up internships at CT Studios for aspiring filmmakers? We will not ever do an unpaid internship because I think that's gross.
Yeah.
But we're
Which
open
means-
to the idea
Which means we won't do internships until we can.
until we can
pay
afford to do it. I would love to do that. My dream, big long-term dream, is to have a studio, whether that's telekinesis or cinema therapy studios or some kind of conjoined weird hybrid monster of the two, that is making 2 movies a year and maybe a TV show. And a huge part of that studio, if it's a functional, successful studio, is going to be education and training for young people coming into the industry who can learn the right way to do things, assuming we're doing things the right way, and then either stay with us long term or go off and start their own studios. I think that apprenticeship is extremely important in film because it's a trade, not a profession necessarily, where you need a license and stuff. And apprenticeship is getting crushed by these giant corporations that are beholden to their stockholders, not the people who make the stuff, which is nobody's fault, but capitalism.
I want to ask a question that's been going around, which is, will I ever be replaced by deepfake AI? I want to say we experimented with it recently, but the backlash was so intense that we're gonna wait for a few years. And we didn't experiment with it recently. Okay, there is no. We did not.
Listen.
I can confirm Jana was not a robot. I did hesitate.
Right.
I did hesitate a little bit.
Trevor was worried.
Hard.
Yeah, Trevor is saying he was worried about whether or not Jana was a robot, and he can confirm Jana is a fleshy meatbag.
Why do you say
I mean a person. He's a human person. No,
so gross.
You're definitely not remotely replaceable on cinema therapy. We go back and forth, like we argue about whether or not I'm replaceable.
I think he's not.
I think I am. Any idiot can cry.
Yeah. No, not replaceable.
This has been asked before, but I think you should answer it again. Will you be doing any reaction videos to video games?
Oh, the question was, will we ever do any reactions to video games? We've discussed it. It is possible. We haven't fit it into our schedule yet. The way we would probably do it is either I would do a playthrough and Jana would watch, or I would record a playthrough and we would do sort of a cut down, a cinematic version of it where you watch the cinematics and any important stuff from the gameplay. Yeah. And then we would do it that way. It's a big ask though, because that's it's a lot.
Yeah.
It could be just like an hour live stream or something.
Essentially.
Perfect moments of games.
Well, and back to our Patreon, we've talked about doing that on the Patreon, especially me as a non-gamer, just coming in and asking all sorts of grandpa questions.
How do I look down?
Yeah.
What do you mean I need to craft a new weapon? Yeah.
So, right.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Was that our last one? Last question.
Last question.
Make it a good one, Trevor.
It's on me now. I have to scroll through here. Hold on, people. I'm being picky.
Here we
Trevor's
go.
being very
I'm
picky.
seeing a lot of love comments, which is great.
Oh, we love you guys.
Yeah. We love you right back.
Questions to see.
Well.
Are you ever going to come to Europe?
So the question is, are we ever going to come to Europe? And the answer is
Yes.
yes. We don't have specific plans yet.
Yeah.
But it almost certainly will not happen in 2024.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good chance it'll happen in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
One last quick question. Yeah, I think this is an important question.
By the way, where should we go in Europe? Because obviously, we're planning to go to England because we speak English. Germany, there's a ton of viewers in Germany. If there's anywhere else where we should come and hang out, and
that's the issue. Is there's so many options and they're all wonderful.
Yeah. Great options. Are you guys going to show any updates or behind the scenes stuff for the CT Studios projects? Is it only going to be on Patreon, or will you show any of it on a different channel or?
Okay, so the question is, will there be any updates for Cinema Therapy Studios anywhere except Patreon. Obviously, the patrons will get regular updates, and there's one tier where you get like crazy, like you get to watch stuff live as we're doing it.
Yeah.
Which is like no one. I don't know of anyone who's ever done that
what's
before.
The list of like what exactly is on that tier, like what people are going to be getting.
Oh no, we haven't discussed that. Maybe we could do that. But quick answer to will there be behind the scenes updates for everyone else? Yes. I don't know how regularly and how like deep they will be, but we'll definitely post. I mean, we'll do like a live stream from set and
Well,
stuff.
and look, like just being candid, this is Patreon funded.
The patrons are paying for it.
We're not making money off of it, so the patrons are going to get the bulk of it.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you want to see a movie, you got to pay for a ticket.
Yeah.
So.
Prosper, I agree. They should do a video on The Last Samurai. I agree.
The Last Samurai is great. We would love to tackle that movie at some point. Tiers. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. We actually launched a new membership tier on our Patreon today, and this is the last thing, and then we gotta get out of here because we gotta go over to the con. But we launched the super villain tier. It's the super tippy top high end tier, and the rewards are pretty cool. At least once a year, probably more often, there will be a merch drop. So if there's new merch in the store, some of it will be exclusive stuff. So like the supervillains will get the crew shirt from the movie, or hat, or whatever we end up. I don't know what we're gonna make, but they'll get that. But the coolest thing is supervillains get way more access to the production. Like we're going to do some live streams from the writer's room while you, Megan, and I are like coming up with the pitches and writing the script. They get first crack at the pitches. In fact, they get to help us like fine tune the pitch to give to the rest of the studio executives, all the other patrons. And then they're gonna get access to, exclusive live streams that frankly are going to be a mix of fascinating and very boring. Like on set and in pre-production meetings and in post-production. Like we're just gonna set up a camera and live stream, and you'll be able to see and hear the things that are going on for like hours at a time.
Yeah.
If you're a supporter at that tier, and I understand if you go look at it, the supervillain tier is pretty expensive per month, but the level of access that we're giving is something that I don't think anyone has ever done in the film industry before.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wild.
It's basically like we're going backpacking together, figuratively.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us as we discuss Cinema
I'm
Therapy
still
Studios.
trying to unpack backpacking. I don't.
Yeah, no, I did that so you'd think about that for a while.
So someone's asking, can we get one big group hug from all of us?
Okay, here's your big group hug.
Okay, here we go.
I gotta I'm gonna flip the camera. Wait.
Oh yeah, Trevor, get in here.
They want me to get in there as well.
Yes.
Oh, my mic. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, my mic's plugged into all kinds of. Boy, I'm real good at this. Okay,
There's
here we
my
go.
torso, and here's me.
Oh, yay! And we're hugging you.
Yay!
See, this is me hugging you. Hi. That
Bye,
looks
guys. Love you.
weird.
All right, love you guys. See ya. How do we end this?